Hey man, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com. Wells Fargo out with a new credit card today called the Attune Mastercard. We're going to take a look at it in this video. The sort of marketing for this card is a little strange compared to what we normally see for cards talking about enhanced rewards for things like fitness and wellness and pets and entertainment and crafts and helping the world around you. A whole lot of stuff all rolled up into this. Wells Fargo has been putting out some pretty interesting credit cards over the past year and a half or whatever it has been. This one seems like maybe a little bit of a clunker, to be honest with you, but I appreciate the experiment and maybe I'm wrong. All right, so let's break down what the new Wells Fargo Attune Mastercard is giving you, and it's not an easy one to break down, and in fact, it was probably not a very easy one for them to put together when you look at these categories. So anyway, Wells Fargo Attune Mastercard, no annual fee, gives you your rewards using the following formula. You're getting 4% cash back in three sort of big umbrella categories. So the first category is going to be fitness and wellness, which of course is going to include gym memberships, and it's going to include things like salons and spas and a lot of things of that nature. That's kind of fairly easy to understand. And then you're also going to get 4% cash back in this large sports, entertainment, and recreation category, which includes everything from concert tickets to gardening and floral purchases to pet supply purchases, a whole lot of stuff underneath this very large umbrella there. And then there also is 4% cash back also in this last category that is sort of like a, I don't know, planet friendly category. It is giving you 4% on public transportation, 4% on electric vehicle charging stations, even 4% at thrift stores. You don't ever see 4% cash back at thrift stores on credit cards. So all of these very interesting categories, 4% on an awful lot of different stuff within these categories. And then of course, as most credit cards go, 1% cash back on anything that doesn't fall into these categories. There's a new cardholder bonus of $100 if you spend $500 with the card in the first 3 months of having it. In addition, until late May of 2025, anybody that gets the card and hits that bonus, Wells Fargo is also going to contribute $50 to a nonprofit organization called Capital Link, which, if I understand correctly, what they do is they sort of keep the lights on at these community health centers in sort of underserved communities where people not only go maybe for health services, but also where they can go if there are power outages or something going on in the neighborhood where they need to be able to go someplace to get light and get power and those sorts of things. So I'm probably doing a terrible job describing it, but there will be a contribution to Capital Link as well. All right, other points to make. You are going to get a 0% interest rate on this card for the first 12 months after you get it, meaning that you can float a purchase or purchases from 1 month to the next without paying interest on those purchases, at least during that first year. After the first year, you're going to have an interest rate that is going to be somewhere in the 20% plus range, so you are going to want to make sure you have all those purchases paid off before you start getting kicked into that super high interest rate. 3% foreign transaction fee. If you use the card outside of the United States, you are going to get charged extra. We prefer to see no foreign transaction fee, but you're not getting that here. You've got cell phone coverage. If you use this card to pay for your cell phone bill, you have coverage that would help you with up to $600 per incident, $25 deductible. You've got secondary car rental insurance. If you use the card when you rent a car and something happens to it, your regular insurance would kick in first, but then you would have secondary insurance here that would handle your deductible and that sort of thing. The card is made of recycled plastic, which fits in with sort of the theme of helping the planet that we are talking about with some of these rewards, so that makes sense as well. Overall, these aren't super exciting extras, but they're extras. Also, I should mention that when I talked about the rewards, I talked about them sort of in the vein of cash back with that 4%, but you actually are getting points that you can use toward cash back, but you could use them also toward gift cards. There are travel rewards with Wells Fargo and those sorts of things. So the same Wells Fargo rewards that would apply to other Wells Fargo cards are what is happening here. So there's nothing really different in terms of how you're redeeming your rewards from this card. So knowing all this, what do we think of the new Attune card? Well, for me, I am having a hard time wrapping my head around exactly who it is for. At first blush, it seems like it would be for younger people who would be, you know, supposedly more into health and fitness, maybe more into entertainment and recreation, maybe care about the planet a little bit more than older people. So you sort of see who they might be targeting here with that. Now the question is, do people that care about those things and, you know, maybe, you know, fit the profile, do they want this stuff on a credit card? Do they care about it being on a credit card? And even if there are enough of them, are they going to find out about the credit card and then apply for it and then actually have the credit card? So it seems like a little bit of a tall order to get the people that maybe this card is targeting. Now, looking at some of the features, I would say to myself, the bonus is a little bit smaller. It seems like it's targeting a younger audience. So maybe this is seen as a little more of an entry-level credit card. Maybe it would be a little bit easier to be approved for than some of Wells Fargo's other credit cards. There's nothing in their marketing or their press release today that suggests that is true. That's really me looking at what is there and saying, well, maybe that's who Wells Fargo is trying to get this card in the hands of, and they would be a little more lenient about approving them than maybe they would be for some of their other credit cards. So that also could play into it. Now, we have seen some other credit cards target the sort of fitness and wellness crowd in the past few years, and they haven't really done very well. Now, to be fair, those cards have usually had an annual fee, and they've usually been from these fintech companies that are startups that sort of have a certain runway, and if they don't kind of get liftoff with the customers, well, then they crash and burn, and that has what has happened up until this point. Now, this card is a little further ranging in terms of where you can get your enhanced rewards, and it has no annual fee, and it's from a major bank that has a much longer runway than these startups would have. So with Wells Fargo, it's obviously sort of a different animal, but it still feels a little bit like you're still going to have some difficulty finding the people that you want as customers for a card like this. Now, this card could be a good complementary card to other credit cards in your wallet, and if you look at what Wells Fargo has done over the past couple years, the cards that they have, the active cash, 2% on everything that you buy with the card. You've got the autograph and autograph journey cards that are giving you enhanced rewards on everyday purchases as well as travel purchases if you had both of those cards. So if you added this as another card with those, well, then you are sort of filling another hole of a lot of what I would consider sort of secondary purchases. So if you went all in on Wells Fargo, the card sort of makes sense. How many people are all in on Wells Fargo? Probably not a ton. And how many people strategize about their credit card rewards other than losers like me? I don't know. So this card's probably pretty far down the list for most people. But maybe Wells Fargo has done some market research and they know exactly who that customer is and they know exactly how to reach that customer. As far as I'm concerned, if this card still exists in 3 years, I will be very surprised. But I love to see what they're doing with all these different categories. Most of the time, new credit cards come out and they're really just kind of variations on a theme. This is something very different, and so it'll be very interesting to see how it does. Questions, comments, would love to hear your thoughts about this card in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching, and as always, please go to proudmoney.com where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. If you don't have a comment about the card or anything else, or you're not going to go to the website, the next video you're going to want to watch right there.